Hello, everybody, and welcome to the October 18th, 2018 edition of the Ephrom Josine Show. I am your host, Ephrom Josine, and ladies and gentlemen, it's 10/18/18. You know what that means? Absolutely nothing! Just figured you guys should know. Anyway, let's just start by breaking down the news. Now, our first statement is, of course, from the Republican Party, because if you cannot tell, they're a little crazy at this point. You know, I get accused sometimes of being very partisan, and those people aren't entirely wrong, I'll admit. However, there are statements out there that just have to make you stop and go, I've given up on all efforts to do bipartisanship or nonpartisanship. I'm just calling this what it is. Incredibly idiotic. Now, before I really start this segment, I should say I am against debts. That's why, for instance, Bill Clinton not giving us a balanced budget, I thought was a good thing. And Republicans wasting that, and specifically George W. Bush using it to give people tax rebates to buy people liking him, was a bad thing in my opinion. But maybe I'm just old-fashioned like this. This is from Bloomberg. Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who just pushed for tax cuts, might I add, that don't even cut taxes for most Americans making under $75,000 a year, and even then, give me a second, he was part of the Reagan administration, the fourth administration he's done that for, says the U.S. budget deficit is, quote, disturbing, and spending on entitlement programs must be addressed by both Republicans and Democrats. Wait, entitlement programs? You mean the programs the American people actually are paying into and like? Why not cut, for instance, corporate subsidies? Not even raise corporate taxes, just cut the subsidies, for God's sake. Or, for instance, make it so, off the top of my head, a corporation cannot deduct so many taxes that before they know it, they're actually getting subsidies either way. Maybe keep the subsidies in the budget, but at least make it so they can't get other subsidy. Oh, wait, that existed. That was called the alternative minimum tax, and it was repealed. Whoops. Here's another one. Statement. McConnell confirms plan to finance tax scam with Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid cuts. Again, Social Security, the program you literally paid into your entire life, your entire working life. Same thing with Medicare. Now, Medicaid, that's for, I believe, poor people instead of older people, so that one's a little different. But Medicare and Social Security are two programs everyone who's working right now is paid into. Everyone who uses right now is paid into. The money's just going to disappear, apparently. You know how money doesn't grow on trees? Well, money also doesn't literally evaporate. I have to remind people that, apparently. But it typically sits there. Unless you're a Republican Congress, in which case you want to put it into the stock market just after two companies failed this year alone. Two of the biggest companies failed this year alone. I don't even know how to respond to this at this point. Of course, Senate Majority Leader McConnell is the definition of evil. We all know that at this point. But I don't even know. It's just being so obvious. He could not make this any more obvious. Honestly, the only thing I can think of that would stop him is, let me think, him actually having to deal with poor people? I don't know. A revolution? That's messy, and I don't care enough to do that. I do care, just not enough to do a literal revolution. Anyway, on Monday, we covered Ann Coulter and later Candace Owens backing out of a Politicon debate with Kyle Kulinski, the host of Secular Talk. Well, recently, she did some interview on some LA program no one actually cares about, although she is the most relevant person out there, to promote her new book, which we actually read the Amazon description of on the show and declared it was awful. Or declared it looked awful. I haven't read it yet. Maybe it's not awful. It's probably awful. But here's what she had to say on Politicon.
Brings people from both sides together for interesting conversations, people that may not listen to each other very often, and you've been going for a few years now, right?
Yes, I have, though. The problem of liberals not listening is not, we haven't really cracked that one yet. They were having trouble getting any liberal of any substance to debate me. It'll be the great Ben Stein. I'm sure I disagree with on a lot of things, but he'll be interviewing me, and he's smart and he's funny, and that'll be great. But it's interesting. I mean, look, some liberals, they're busy, they have other things to do. I'm not saying they were all chicken, but wow, come on.
Well, last year you were on with Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks, right?
Yes. Yeah. She's written, what, 12 bestsellers? Oh, no, I'm sorry, none.
Okay.
I have a few things to say about that. First off, I like how she says you can't get any liberals to debate her, then immediately mentioned she debated Anna Kasparian, who has no best-selling books as opposed to Ann Coulter, who builds her career on hating the New York Times, and yet praises the fact, loves the fact that right-wing think tanks buy her books en masse to make sure she's always on their bestseller list. Shouldn't you not want to be on their bestseller list if you hate them so much? Like, if Breitbart were to praise something I wrote, I would say, oh, should probably reevaluate that opinion. In the same way, if the evil, biased, liberal New York Times is saying, oh, this is a book that's pretty good, a lot of people like it, shouldn't you be going, oh, God, oh, no, I've betrayed my values? Ann Coulter's existence confuses me sometimes, but let's talk about what she said. They couldn't get any liberal of substance to debate her. First off, I know tons of liberals who would like to debate her and destroy her because it would be pretty easy to do. You know who actually had to go through a lot of trouble to find someone to debate him? Kyle Kulinski, who, honest to God, offered Politicon 3-on-1s just to debate a conservative because he knows his audience likes it. So you're just lying at that point. And you know, I could assume maybe she just didn't know who Kyle was. But then when you go around and say, oh no, you know, they couldn't get anyone of substance to debate me. First off, why does it matter if substance or not? What does that even mean in your mind? Then you're just lying. You're just downright lying. And of course, you've never even mentioned Kyle. Your fan pages have never mentioned Kyle. It used to be up on Kyle's Wikipedia page. He was going to debate you. It was never up on yours. Anyway, that's it. I'm Ephrom. I'm signing out.